Thank you for inviting me here again. I was here last year also talking a little bit about BIM and also the connection to the country I come from, and that's Sweden. I work for WSP. Start here. Mr. Koo from Singapore gave me a few influences of what is the world about, for instance, point clouds. You can run the track. You can have this is a part from a place outside Stockholm where you can use point clouds in many ways. And if you go into very high resolutions, you even can use the point cloud as an object. And then you ask yourself, is that BIM? And I say, yes, it is. This is a part of it all. And this is mobile mapping, we call it. We run on the track with a certain vehicle and also connected to Singapore. We now have 4 to 5 people from Sweden are there doing mobile mapping on their subways, on the metro, on all tunnels they have there. So we will help you with the next step, as you understand. So, yeah. WSP and Parson Brinkerhoff, we are quite a huge consulting company today. We were in this size last year as well. And we are spread all over the world. Some working in a huge company. I never done that before, but we are very local. And we also have partners here in the Baltics cities. BIM, you can talk about BIM with a lot of influences as inputs from everywhere. We have a mission for a BIM organization. I'm running a department. We are a little bit over 30 people now that are used to work with coordination. That's the issue with strategies, with management, try to get VDC on place. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But now we also start doing a lot of communication. We use the information we collect and we help contractors and others to communicate their project. And we can do it in certain different ways. We can have nice videos. We can have like this. This is a very simple, you call it 360 panorama. It's even simpler than that. But this thing, I can put it on the web without any plugins or nothing, and I can add more information. So, okay, I have huge, nice 360 panoramas photos to connect to this, and I can walk around in different areas. This is the new subway in Stockholm from the central part out to the new football arena. So it's a very important thing, and it passes a lot of places where people live. And here's a shadow, and that is a railway that's going under, so it's the connection between all the things around is very difficult. You talk about 3D management of the house, who owns what, and that is an issue in cities that are using underground constructions a lot. We also start talking about increasing the BIM approach. We've been stuck in getting all the details in place, get the perfect model, get everything perfect, and then we can go for the next step. For us, it's important to start moving even before we have the perfect model in the bottom. So we talk a lot about technology, but try to get out of that and talk about work processes. How can we do this? How can we work like WSP together with Skanska in complete entrepreneur projects, etc. And that is not so much technology. It's start talking about work processes, moving information. That is what's important. And also communication. We think 3D is important. Yes, of course it's important. But the communication can be done on a piece of paper sometime that you scanned and put in the model, in the 3D model, as an additional information source. Quality assurance as well, clash detection, of course, that's a cleaning area, but then we can start about soft clash detection. How can people move here Do we have quality enough to bring all the people from the football stadium into the metro because they are leaving at the same time? Or do we need to increase the construction about this? How can we simulate this in our BIM models? And so on. Multiple design, of course, rather than single. I will come back to that as well, because we are still there. We think we are doing very good, but there are still a lot of work to be done with all the people, because we are all involved here. I have something happen in our office when we talk about VDC. I'm not sure you know what it is. It's a virtual design and construction. It was invented on NASA, they say. They're using it on Stanford. You can get certified. You can do a lot of things. But VDC is not that complicated. You can start thinking about this already now. 3D design, we have done that for many years. And then came BIM for 10, 15 years ago, so we're gonna add more information. So we do 3D BIM design, not in all projects, but we do it. It's not a completely strange word any longer. But maybe we stop there. And then someone comes talking about ICE, integrated concurrent engineering. And if you go, for instance, to Norway and talk with the people working with offshore, out in the ocean, with the platforms for oil and gas, they know all about this, because that's what they're doing. They have to deliver the construction in perfect way, because if you're out in the Atlantic and the bolt holes are in the wrong place, you are in a bad position, so to say. So if you combine what we already know about 3D coordination, 3D design with this, with ICE, then you have this virtual design and construction. And what is ICE? That's, if you simplify it even more, maybe we'll have some experts here that are gonna tell me that I do not know all the capitals, all the book, but I haven't read all the book. I tried to add this to my own organization where I work, in WSP. And ICE is another way to have the meetings. We have started testing this. Not everybody are comfortable with this. For instance, if you sit in this meeting, it's a full day meeting, someone asks you and they ask you a question and you're supposed to answer. You cannot say, I will go back and I come back tomorrow and give you an answer. That's, the whole idea is you do it in the same room. So you go for the result, not give only information. As an example, you define the problems so you can solve it. You don't define who owns the problem. That's a huge difference in attitude in the meetings. So ICE is important for us, and it's important for BIM development also to start working in another way. Take those nice information sources, 3D and all of that, and take it into another type of meeting sessions. We do this in railway. And I had this slide just last year as well. Swedish Transport Administration. I can go to Finland, I can go to Norway as well, as I know them, and they have the same agenda. Lowest level, this was last year, should be that we are moving into BIM. And it is like that. They're doing documents, and here are, this in Swedish, fortunately, krav is the same as demands. And normally the business area I work with, okay, here's new demands, what can we do now? We don't really need to do everything, but we can get close. But the authority are very strong now on rail and road. So they point at this and say, here are the demands. Don't try to go another track. You need to deliver by this. And what we need to deliver is different types of models. We have in the bottom, you do, for instance, track, you do bridge, you do tunnels, you have different tools, but you do 3D models, BIM models, but they are separated, they are single. This is in the documents, and then they say, we need coordination models, you need to do that. Navis Works, Navigator, Solibri, whatever tools you want to use. And they also ask for this presentations model, a little bit more glamour and more diamond push in everything. And then on the top, and this is what they really ask for, an object-oriented information model. And we say, okay, give us the technology and you will have it, because the technology is not really there. It's close to, but not fully. So if we go to railway design and see into ourselves, we got quite a huge rail department, and Sweco is also joining here. They have the biggest in Sweden, but we are working with the same tools and doing more or less the same way. So we do single disciplines models, whatever we do. That includes track, ballast bridges, tunnels, all type of extra construction you can work with. Overhead lines, of course, they are very visible, and also signal post for signaling, and you have to see that you can see the signal post, for instance, in a typical way. We do that. Low voltage power, signal cables, telecom, they are very stable on 2D drawings, and they're not moving from there right now. But I think we will see things happen there as well. From that, we create this BIM coordination model and presentations model. And we use the standard tools that are out on the market. Navigator, Navisworks, Solibri. I think there are more, but they are common in our place. And then we come to the big thing, this object-oriented information model that they ask for and demands for how to deliver. And there are companies in Sweden, Norway, that's where I know work, use different tools. Autodesk InfraWorks, it's not a complete thing for this, but you can use it in some way. We try to put things in game engines, in VR technology. We try to do different things in different companies, just to see that we can step further on. So, but we are not fully there, but that is where the landing point is. So then we cannot deliver the full what they're asking for, but they are happy with what they got because they know that this level is quite tough. The authority in Sweden have decided to not be sitting around in meetings, taking part. They want to be a driver, for instance, also in the initiative, the standardized CityGML and other things that are moving around. So, and we think that is good. But the branch is not fully following this right now. Thought I was going to run some model here as well. Do a small thing with this. It is a project. I started just because it's a interesting thing here is Skanska. You might know about that quite huge contractor, also on world basis. They're building this Stenkumla-Dunsjö. It's a track. It's a single track line that's going to be converted to a double track line. And they've been driving this information model question quite hard. So they normally in a rail project you store things in project-wise. And then you try to find it in all the tree structure and search things that you do. What they want to do now is to change the way you search for information. So instead of going into a document management system, try to find it, you go into the model, and from there you try to find other documents. So the model is a central part of this. So this is, don't get sick yet. You can see that it's going far away here. It's what is 11 or 13 kilometers long. It has quite a few details, but we can go down here. So it starts here with oops, go fast here. This is a VR environment that I'm running. It's not a game engine, it's something else. So. And here's the details in the model. This is, as you see, it's a track in open area, open space, no cities, nothing much to take care of. You have the overhead lines, you have the blue lines for this is the flow of the water. It's tried to simulate things like that. Now I clicked on the ballast here, and then I can open, for instance, there is ordinary old drawings. This is standard drawings for how to build a rail in Sweden. And you can see it doesn't include much about measurement. This is the only thing I've found, 6 meters between the tracks. The other thing, this is the standard we build tracks at Rail Authority in Sweden. So that's a 2D document, a PDF. I think it's quite old as well. But it's very important to have it included in the model like we have here. And we can have the same from this. How is this designed and supposed to be put in the ground, this pillar for the overhead lines. And also, it's all simple documents. We can also run into here, PPE documents, time schedules. They're also included in the models. You can open everything from inside the model instead of open it from somewhere and then start the model. Now we're driving this even further together with Skanska to make it even more connected with the information, including tools for storing documents direct up to a web-based portal, so it will be available for a lot of other peoples in the space. So, and finally, a stay to demos. So I have those 5 extras, yeah. Yeah, thank you. This is also a rail project that's been discussed. I think I ran this partly last time I was here, a year ago. It's called Västlänken. Västlänken is in the city of Gothenburg. It's underground construction, 8 kilometers, double track, 3 new stations. City of Gothenburg looks like this. It's Swedish second city. And if we open up for Västlänken, who is an underground construction, so here it is, goes into tunnels. We have a station here, it goes around in the central part, station there, goes to the event arena, here's hockey arenas, footballs, exhibitions and so on. And they included all the information they have here, so it comes from whatever stored in Project WISE are extracted and into this model. And if we fly away here a little and go to, let's go a little faster. Here we got this is a central station existing, and here is a new station. So this is part of information model, you can say so, because here we included architectural things like Revit, because the station is done in Revit. We have it here, we can go down. So you can take a section here, you got everything about the station and check out. So it combines also then, for instance, in this case with the rail things done in Bentley's power rail. So you have it here, and you can, of course, examine the model in different ways and so on. This is a transport authority model, as we have here. Turn this off. They are interested in building this construction, of course, the best way. And as we talk, there's, Mr. Kui says, so many information sources have to be included. And one can be, for instance, this is existing rock things. How about groundwater? Yes, we've done investigation for that, so we have it for the whole area, so we can go back and check out the condition of that, get more information about groundings. We can look into what types of rock we have, what quality, what it is. Everything is in the same model, and that's the whole idea. And it's done for creating this construction that we have here. And the interesting thing now is this model was financed and paid by the authority in the project, of course. It's and then came the city of Gothenburg and said, "Whoa, look here, we have a model. Can we do something here in the same model? Because we have information, we don't know how to visualize it." So, and this is an area that's going to be built in Gothenburg. The central part is on this side of the river, and this was for shipping and everything. It's a racetrack, STCC, that's the most glamour thing that they have been using. So, external user, SBK, that's the building part inside the community. They have models and ideas of what to do, sketches from Frihamnen is the name of this. And they were sitting on this quite simple model, but why not? Now we have a high engineering model combined with what we can call a city model here. And this is only volumes to see how can this fit into Gothenburg. And this bridge is very old, and it's on its way down to the bottom, so to say. So there have been designed a new bridge. You can add that as well. And then volume study, high houses. We're going to have that in Gothenburg. Gothenburg is not a city who wants high houses, but now they start discussing, can we have this? So they do the volume studies also still in the same model, because I have the tunnel, the West Link in the bottom, the engineering model here. Now that we have started building in this project, and they start over here, and now they're going to use this model as well for the full. The model itself is today 20 gigabyte large something. I'm running it on an Elite book, so it's a business computer, nothing else. So the technology is there for us, and it is like Mr. Koo said on the meeting here, it's not about the tools to show things. That's not the trick. It's about how do you store all your data so you can reuse it in every certain way that you can find out later. I have one more slide. I'll take that because you gave me 5. Thank you. A little bit about the future. As we see on it, someone asked how it's going to look in 5 years. Yeah, who knows? You can have a good discussion about this. There are a lot of people around the world driving the processes further on. But there are some places where you have to put your footprints down. And knowledge-based engineering is absolutely one thing. And how that can be combined with BIM is also something we have to think of. Knowledge-based engineering will do that. We will not do that much work with the CAD drawings and the model any longer. The computer will do all of it. So there are, for instance, already software that you can say, I want a rail track from that city to that city. The conditions between here, I can give all the terrain condition, but I can also give all about how people live, where they move, how about water conditions, and then the software gives you 3 alternatives. Try that, that, and that. So you don't sit there, now I'm going to design a nice thing. You go the opposite way. So that will happen. Huge amount of data. Mr. Ko already told me about terabytes. Our people in Singapore, they're sitting there with 54 terabytes of data, and they need to take it to Sweden. And the easiest way, buy a hard disk drives and a ticket from an airplane, because that's the only way to move those huge amount of data. You cannot use internet. So, and we scan more. The data will explode for us. All disciplines included. It's important that we don't forget the landscape architects, for instance, that all often try to sit a little bit beside, but they want to be included in a special way in the BIM processes. As an example, I don't have anything against them. I understand them more. Crystal clear visual communication. You need good-looking things certain time, and you need good-looking things for certain issues sometimes. We have a model over all new metro lines in Stockholm. It's the ugliest in the world, I guess, but it's completely easy to understand. As soon as you see it, you understand what is what, but it's not nice looking. And this maybe is the hottest point to think of, optimization. And as I said, don't rely on standardized software. Don't get angry on me if you're from Autodesk or somewhere. It is about that we cannot sit with those projects we are doing and wait for Bentley, Autodesk, Trimble, and other suppliers that they will solve all the problems for us. We have to be driving this, and optimization is a very important thing for doing this. So it's about knowledge. We should know a lot of things. It's about digitalization, how do we manage all this data that we got. So there will be no problem having it. But the thing is, it's how to sort it out. And the processes, we still have to work with that. It's easy to forget. You're right into technology and you forgot all the people who should be involved in this. And then communication. We will communicate our result much more, much faster. Maybe the stakeholder of the project want to see every minute in real time what you are doing in design. Can be a new way of thinking of that. Communication, of course, and last of all, optimization. You maybe do software development for a project because it's so expensive project. So you do it for the project, and when it's finished, you throw all source code away because you're not going to use it again. So don't try to do new software. That area is forby, so you cannot earn money there. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dėkojame. Sulaukime porą klausimų. We have a few questions for you. So, įgarsinkime.
It's a private model, asks someone. Will it be transferred to some governmental or municipal models databases?
Maybe don't really understand. If I have a private model, is that an extract from something that I've created myself, or?
Galbūt Virginijus galėtų patikslinti šiek tiek klausimą. Taip.
This was the government in this case, yeah. Ah. Yeah, good. Very good question, because when you have this model that you as engineer have done and you say, okay, who wants this now at the government side authority, there are not many people there because they don't have the system to collect it. They can take the data set and put it on a server, and then they don't really know what to do with it. Now I can only talk about Sweden, I know Norway have come a little bit further, and Finland I'm not sure on. But in Sweden, they have system for asset management, that's it. But the road design, the rail design, and all what's done there, no one. They put it on a server, I know that. So.